What's going on, guys, gals, and gearheads? Downshift Dining here. Today we're making a stir fry. We got some teriyaki marinade, some vegetable oil, some chili paste, some little stir fry noodles. These things are just really darn good. And I've got some chicken here that I just marinated for the past 12 hours in a little bit of soy sauce, teriyaki sauce, and sesame oil. We have our bok choy and our baby bell peppers, some asparagus, and onion. So first off, we're going to start up with heating up our wok. Pretty nice high flame. Making sure that our wok is nice and centered over the flame. So with that, we're just going to add a little bit of vegetable oil to begin with. Not a whole bunch, about, I'd say, half a tablespoon or so, maybe a little more. Get it all nice and around inside the pan here. And the first thing we're going to do, we're going to cook our chicken first. That way the fat renders off the chicken. And you'll see here shortly that the pan's going to have a lot more drippings in it than just the oil you see to begin with. And I'm just making sure that I'm not overly crowding the pan. I'm trying to keep the chicken a little bit separated. That way it doesn't really steam. It actually gets a nice color to it, a nice good sear. And that's the sound we want to hear the whole time. Keeping this wok nice and hot. So first off, we're going to mise en place the vegetables. We got our bok choy here. I'm going to cut it right here at the bottom where the base gets really thick. Give it a wash. And that'll be our nice little bok choy to have. I do cut them individually. Some pieces might be a little bit longer than others before the base of it gets really thick. But you can pretty much just cut off the whole bottom bulb and be perfectly fine from there. I'm going to give these a nice little rinse down and wiping inside the sink. Just to make sure there's no dust or cobwebs or anything else on them. So with those all nice and washed, I'm going to go ahead and cut up the asparagus. Now this asparagus looks really good, but the bases are really thick, so I'm going to go ahead and just cut them off right here. And right about there in the last, inch and a half, 2 inches. It's a little bit too thick for my liking, so I'm going to go ahead and toss it. From here, I'm going to take our baby bell peppers, give them a whole bunch of slicing, making sure that I get most of the seeds out. If there's still a seed or two, not a big problem. So our chicken's still cooking real good. I'm going to go ahead and grab some tongs and flip them over and see how we look. See if we get some color going. And we got a little bit of color, but I'm looking for a lot more. So they're going to go, I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit more, and they're going to go on a little bit longer. All right, so while the chicken's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and cut up our onion. And from here, I like to leave the onion in big chunks, so I just cut it up like this. Go ahead and peel apart the onion, make sure you have all the individual pieces. That way you don't have too thick of a piece that won't have time to render down and cook a little bit. So our chicken's still looking good. We're getting more and more color on it, which I'm really happy to see. Alright, all the vegetables are just about mise en place. And now that the chicken's been on for about 7 minutes inside the wok here, I think it's time to pull the chicken. And you'll see here in the bottom of the wok how much more juice is down there. That's all the fat from the chicken that rendered out. And take a look at that. Now that's just flavor right there. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and put the asparagus in first. And I have the video sped up. I gave the asparagus about a 2-minute head start before anything else. After that, went ahead and threw in our baby bell peppers. And another little chunk of baby bell pepper. Okay, we're going to give that a good toss. Make sure that the chicken drippings are all over the vegetables here. After a moment or two, I added the onion. And I've got to have the slow motion shot. I just think it looks so pretty. Alright, and with that, we're looking pretty darn good. I'm going to go ahead and get our noodles out of the package here and give them some microwave radar love for about 30 or 40 seconds. That'll loosen up the noodles inside the bag, and they'll kind of steam a little bit. While they're in the microwave, I'm going to go ahead and get some cellophane out, wrap up my onion. Alright, with the onion all wrapped up, I'm going to go ahead and clean up my cutting board, and we're on to the next step. So our chicken's been resting for a little bit, and just look at the nice coloring we've got on that. That's going to be just absolutely tasty. So I'm going to go ahead and cut up the chicken into a whole bunch of chunks. with no rhyme or reason, just a whole bunch of chunks. It doesn't matter which way you cut it, as long as they're just about bite size is all we're looking for. Alright, and with all of our chicken cut up, I'm going to go ahead and put it back on the plate that the chicken rested in. It's got a lot of nice drippings and juices inside there, so we're going to go ahead and use those all later on. Our vegetables, they're looking really darn good. Alright, now that the vegetables have a texture that I just about think is perfect, you'll see right here, the asparagus is a little bit bendy, the onions are starting to get kind of soft. Now, I know this is not traditional for a proper stir-fry, but this is how I like to have it. So we're going to go ahead and add in our noodles. And the amount of stir-fry that I'm making here is good for about 5 to 6 people. And you'll see my new little kitten there in the background running amok and playing with my St. Bernard in the background there. So we're going to go ahead and just give this a good toss. Then I'm going to go ahead and add in some of the chili garlic paste. This stuff is just wonderful. I use it a lot in cooking. And then we got our generic teriyaki glaze. This one's a sesame ginger teriyaki glaze. So we're going to go ahead and add all that stuff in, if it'll actually come out of the dang bottle. There we go. Alright, we're going to go ahead and stir this up some more. And if it doesn't quite stir up, by flinging the wok around, I just like to use my tongs just to make sure that the noodles get all saturated with the nice sauces. And here's all of our cut up chicken and all the drippings. We're going to go ahead and add that in. And I add the chicken in when we're about 2 minutes away. Now, the chicken was perfectly cooked, so you don't want it to be in the wok for too long. It will overcook. Now, I am using chicken thighs, which I think is a lot more forgiving. So here, I'm just taking the bok choy, and the white parts of the bok choy I'm trying to bury in the hot noodles. That way they cook down a little bit. All I'm looking to do is pretty much heat them all the way through and waiting for the leaf part of it to become really vibrant green and a little bit wilted, kind of like how spinach goes. And at the last step, I just blasted the heat, and we're going to go ahead and put in about a 1/3 cup, maybe a 1/2 cup of chicken stock here. That'll make everything all nice and saucy and steam everything up some. So we're going to go ahead and give that a little more stirring. You'll see the flames are just on absolute high right now. Trying to bury the white part of the bok choy again, just for another moment or two. Right here, I'm just taking a little chunk of the chicken, seeing what it's going to need or doesn't need, and I just decided that it needed just a little bit more of the teriyaki glaze and a little bit more of the chili garlic paste, just to crank up the saltiness and the spiciness some. And look at that, we are looking really good. Now, this is a super simplistic, 20-25 minute ordeal from start to finish. And it's also a really cheap meal. And there we have it. I went ahead and cut the heat. Got the wok over on my cutting board, and we are ready to serve. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this budget meal, and I'll see you guys in the next one.